All right, we back, man. We live with another one, man. Rest in peace to Takeoff. We don't want to be too too start off the show too excited with the information we got today. What you think about Takeoff, Cap?
Hey, real talented guy. Supported his music. Unfortunate what's happening with rappers these days. I guess we could go into some more detail from the article. Obviously, by now, most people know that Takeoff was shot and killed. There's been a lot of rumors spiraling around, but we'll just stick to the facts first.
Yeah,
All right, hold
we'll
on.
get into the rumors too, though. That's cool.
All right, here there's a story in the AP. His people confirmed with AP that he was out of here. So I'll start here. The rapper Takeoff, best known for his work with the Grammy nominated trio Migos, is dead after a shooting early Tuesday outside of a bowling alley in Houston, a representative confirmed. He was 28 years old. I don't know if this is true, but they say he was at Jay Prince's party. And I did see that it was Jay Prince's birthday on Halloween, so who knows? Uh, Kershnik Kari Ball, known as Takeoff, was part of Migos along with Quavo and Offset, a representative for members of Migos who was not authorized to speak publicly, confirmed the death to the Associated Press. Police responded shortly after 2:30 a.m. to reports of a shooting at 810 Billiards and Bowling, where dozens of people had gathered on a balcony outside of the third floor bowling alley. Police said officers discovered one man dead when they arrived. An AP reporter at the scene observed a body loaded into a medical examiner's van around 10 a.m., more than 7 hours after the shooting. Security guards who were in the area heard the shooting, did not see who did it. A police spokesperson said two other people were injured and taken to hospitals in private vehicles. Smart
Okay,
move.
boom. Hold on, let me. I didn't want to stop you there, but let me stop you there. It says the body didn't get discovered to. They didn't pick the body up to 7 hours later. That's kind of alarming, isn't it?
Well, I mean, how many crime scenes have you been on to where you know the protocol to where you know how long a body's supposed to be there? And
I'm just
probably,
saying,
huh?
once once someone's shot and the ambulance is called. I mean, he didn't. That's all I'm saying. For 7 hours, for somebody getting shot for 7 hours for him to get some treatment to the hospital, it seems a little. Unless they was like he's gone.
I
We ain't
mean, but what are you basing that off of?
when anybody gets injured or hurt or
How do you
even
know how
shot.
long they stay there?
I mean, I'm not saying how long they stay there, but normally when you get when you need of medical assistance, you'll get
No,
that
it
immediately.
doesn't. It doesn't seem like he needed medical assistance. It seems like he was dead when they arrived at the scene.
At 10 o'clock.
Look, it says officers discovered one man dead when they arrived. They say he entered the van around 10 a.m. So,
Oh,
well, he didn't need no medical attention. But no arrests have been announced, and few
damn.
details were released about what led up to the shooting. But Houston police planned a news conference for Tuesday afternoon, and media members at the scene later Tuesday morning were being kept across the street, which was otherwise blocked off to the public. Um, and the management at the bowling alley didn't respond to phone message seeking comment. I did see also in another article that people gathered at the scene and was bringing flowers and stuff like that, just showing their respect. You know, Migos has some real fans out here.
Yeah, yeah.
Now,
So
go ahead.
your take on the situation that you hear in the facts. What's your take on this situation?
Something went wrong outside of that bowling alley. It's being said that they were shooting dice, but none of that has really been confirmed. But man, sometimes news moves faster on that internet than it does in the
Real
mainstream
life.
media,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to stuff like that. So there's, I think it's important to note that two other people got shot as well. So this was an ugly situation, and if Takeoff wasn't involved in the initial dispute, I wonder did anybody who was involved in the initial dispute get shot? You know what I'm saying? Was this just all strays? Was just people just you know it's just crazy.
Could be, man. Could be people,
You
everybody want to hold a gun so long, but I mean everybody want to
Yeah,
hold one.
yeah. I'm not even rocking with the whole dice game story either. Really, I mean, like that's what's being said early, but I don't know. I just know that when it comes to stories like this, man, early on you're gonna hear a lot of rumors. I think we just learned from what happened with PNB Rock that it was totally different than what was painted. Remember, initially they were saying that the girl posted on the story, letting people know the location, and
Yeah.
then it was saying that he posted on the story. Then we later found out that it was a whole family that targeted him, and they were in the parking lot before he even got there and targeted him. You know what I'm saying? When he pulled up, so we don't really know right now. We don't want to speculate, but I do know that whatever it was, it couldn't have been for a good reason.
Yeah. Well, what I
I,
take from this is, man, you don't want to be too many places where a lot of rappers are at, you know.
wow. Yeah,
No,
one
ain't
might
cause
one might say that though. I mean,
I mean that's real, bro. They're getting shot at, shootings. Like, why would I want to be in area and vicinity of rappers? You get me? Like, damn, like, I'm out trying to have a good time and there's a whole bunch of rap. Like, I'd be kind of like, hold on, nah, this may not be the party I need to be at.
that's crazy. Has it gotten that bad?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for me, I don't want to be partying with no rappers, but would you?
It's hard for me to really disagree with what you said. You know what I'm saying? I don't know very many
I'm not trying
like
to say they bad
famous rappers.
people or anything like that, but it's just so much
Yeah,
going on in the culture. It's so much of that I'm seeing that it doesn't make me feel safe. Just that I'm hanging around with a whole bunch of, Cuban link chain wearing, dudes. That's just like I'm gonna feel like, nah, man, somebody gonna get into some kind of dispute, and I may just be
yeah.
in the wrong place at the wrong time.
I didn't independently confirm this for myself, but I did see a headline where it was a quote from Boosie, and I think even if he didn't say it, the quote was potent. He said that we used to be heroes, now we're targets. Or now we're targets. We used to be heroes. And I thought that was just a sad thing, man. You know what I'm saying? To see like we lost so many rappers in the last like 2 to 4 years that I can't even. If you just asked me to say all of them on the top of my head, I couldn't. But it's people that I used to probably listen to like once a day.
Bro, I remember when we were talking about rap when we was kids, and it was just only like Big L, Tupac, Biggie. Like, you remember that?
Yeah, listen, I'm gonna tell you something. I remember more recently we was talking about what we're gonna talk about on the podcast, and these rappers kept on popping up there, and we came to the realization like we can't really even be trying to cover rappers dying because we won't have time to talk about nothing else.
Yeah.
It's happening that often.
This a big one here though. This is
This a
like,
big one. We had to speak
yeah,
on this
this like one of the best rap groups probably going
ever.
down in history ever, to be honest.
Arguably, definitely arguably the best rap group ever,
Yeah,
especially for what they were able to accomplish at such a young age. This guy's only 28 years old and
I
he's
know.
out of here now. And it's crazy that we saw the Migos break up recently. Takeoff left the group. So they went from three to two to now one. I mean, is there even amigos
I think
anymore? Like
for the money part, them boys gonna have to come back together, Quavo and
Takeoff. I mean, maybe
yeah,
this will bring them
Quavo
closer
and
together.
Offset. Quavo and Offset gonna have to, you know what I
Quavo
mean?
and Offset, correct.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for
So
that correction.
it's just sad for the culture, bro. Like I'm telling people, man, with all of this drama, it's just like our stuff is just still the same. It's nothing changing. And it's like, oh man, I don't know where to start. Like, we need a plan. Like,
You know what
what
I
are we
saw?
gonna do?
Well, we do need a plan. I mean, this is bad, but I mean, I don't even want to sit here and just
Right. It's
get
tough.
sad like that because I'll say it for this reason because this kind of stuff happens,
A
but
lot,
then it's
right?
still it happens a lot, but still tomorrow people are still going to think it's cool to use a gun to solve all their problems. We still going to listen to songs that talk about it all day. We still going to keep on encouraging the same
The hate
environment that
towards each other.
caused this. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, there is some kind of hate. I
It
wouldn't
is. It
use
has to be.
I wouldn't use those words, but I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't put it that way. But it's definitely a problem with I feel what I could attribute this to is the gun culture. There's too many people that feel like every situation calls for a gun to be pulled out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know what they was going through over there, but I'm almost I'd be ready to stake everything I got on this probably could have been resolved without a gun. Whatever they was going through, whatever went wrong in that situation, it could have been resolved without a gun easily. And now three people got shot and one of them didn't make it. You know, and it's just sad, man. It's just sad. He
Yeah.
was actually my favorite Migo too. I was just saying that this past week, and I was riding in the car, and I was like, "Man, I think Takeoff is the hardest Migo."
Yeah. Because he just laid back. He reminded me of myself, just kind of like a laid back, but still be snapping. So
Yeah, man, he's dope. What's your favorite Migo song?
really my favorite Migos song has to be that one when they was like straightening, you know?
Yeah,
Ain't nothing
yeah,
but a
yeah.
little bit of
Straight.
straightening.
Ain't nothing
You
but a
know,
little bit straight.
I like the
Yeah,
gap because it's like, come on, y'all, it ain't nothing really. That's what
yeah.
our culture needed. It ain't anything we going through is ain't nothing but a little bit
A
of
little bit
straight.
straight. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. It works in so many different situations. You right.
So I
You right.
had to highlight that one because I be getting the more songs that touch in a different way. Like I'm not gonna, that one was like, I'm like, wow, man, they really saying
Yeah,
some positive,
yeah,
twist on it. You know what I mean? I liked it that, like,
yeah. I really like that song they
for
did
sure.
with YB that I needed.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was hard, but I can't say that's like I like bigger than you. This shit
Okay.
bigger than you. That was a hard one. Which I can't pick a favorite Migos song. It's
I
just it's
mean,
hard. Like I really can't. You know what I'm
they
saying?
trendsetters, man. I remember
They
hearing them for the first time with that Versace.
bro. And Drake hopped on it, and then it was like out of here. And honestly, when that dropped, everybody was rapping like the Migos. It was like you had to start rapping like them, get on the song with them, or get out the way at one point. It was just Migos mania at one point.
I think they influence how people rap it now. Like
Yeah,
even when
like
you hear
it
it,
never
like
went back the same.
yeah, it's like after them, it was like that was like a
Different.
pivotal moment.
Yeah, that triplet, like I know they ain't the people to invent it. I mean, but nobody came out with that triplet flow or anything that
Oh yeah, that
resembled
triple
that
flow. That's what it was.
where people just latched on to it. It never took over like that. There's a few people who was like, oh, we was doing that first. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? When you was doing it, it didn't take over like when those guys did it. It was the biggest thing out for a while. You know, and even if you can't always go by sales all the time, sometimes I think a big measure of how dope somebody is, a group or an artist, is their impact, like the influence. We might not go have to like stream everything or buy every Migos album, but it's like you're gonna pay attention to whatever they do. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and you're not gonna have a problem if it comes on. You know, but we'll move on, man. That's just a sad story. That's just a
Yeah.
sad story. Um, I think it would be good to go into Elon Musk. The follow up on the story that we did last episode, we had the story about the hammer wielding attacker that he had a plan to tie up Nancy Pelosi's husband and then get her, and luckily he didn't succeed in this. But we know that since then, the guy has actually, well, we'll get into that momentarily, but I think that we know that this was a right wing MAGA guy. He was a fan of Kanye. We know the
No,
man was
you
he was
calling out
anti-Semitic. You know,
what?
yeah, he was anti-Semitic. All of this stuff. I mean, he was a fan of what Kanye was talking about. So I don't know if he was jamming college dropout or nothing like that. But when Kanye was
Wow.
talking that talk, he was feeling that. He was talking about the hollow hoax and all of this. We know that this guy was a bad guy and the type of conspiratorial thinking that motivated him to do something like this.
Mm.
I think that knowing that it was a conspiracy theory that drove him to do this, I think it's very important how we gauge the severity of the situation of what Elon Musk did. I'll go right into the story. All right, let me go ahead and start sharing. Because if I say it, I'm just a nigga on YouTube. So I'm gonna present the
I mean,
receipts. You know
yeah,
what I'm
you
saying?
saying that he was a Kanye fan? That's
No,
deep.
we passed that. That's we covered that story. I don't know if you remember, Bob.
Yeah.
We covered that story. Elon Musk, in a tweet, shares link from site known to publish false news. The tweet on Sunday, which was later deleted, posted an article that made baseless allegations about the attack on Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband. I don't know if they're gonna say it in the article, but I be watching right wing media outlets, and the whole conspiracy theory was that this guy who attacked Nancy Pelosi's husband was actually his gay lover. But let's go into this article. 3 days after Elon Musk purchased Twitter, the billionaire posted a tweet that advanced baseless allegations about the recent attack on the husband of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. The tweet on Sunday raised the new questions about how or if Mr. Musk will act to combat misinformation and hate speech on the social media site. On Saturday, Hillary Clinton, the former First Lady and 2016 Democratic presidential nominee, posted a tweet assailing Republicans for spreading hate, deranged conspiracy theories that she said emboldened the man who attacked Miss Pelosi's husband, Paul, inside the couple's home in San Francisco early Friday. That's right, Paul. We should refer to him as that. I keep forgetting. In a reply to Miss Clinton's tweet, Mr. Musk wrote, "There is a tiny possibility that there might be more to this story than meets the eye," and then shared a link to an article in the Santa Monica Observer. And the article alleges that Mr. Pelosi was drunk and in a fight with a male prostitute. Mr. Musk's tweet later deleted and was not immediately clear who had deleted it. I can't say Musk is. That was just tough for me, so they're gonna have to bear with me. But a 2021 editorial in the Los Angeles Times about websites that masquerade as legitimate local newspaper noted that the Santa Monica Observers, owned by one-time city council candidate David Ganeser, is notorious for publishing false news. In 2016, for example, the publication advanced a claim that Miss Clinton had died and that a body double was sent to debate the Republican presidential nominee, Donald J. Trump. Bob, I'm going to stop there for a second. How many times have I tried to push when we do what we're doing here, how important it is to have media literacy and know about epistemology, know about critical thinking? And one of the things about both of those things is having credible sources. First thing when you get a message from the media is to consider the source. Somebody like Elon Musk is sharing news with a conspiracy site sharing news of a conspiracy theory from a site that once said that Hillary Clinton was dead and had a body double. Either I don't think if he's as smart as they say he is, he's an engineer. I think it's more likely that this is sinister. You know what I'm saying? He's not just sharing something like he don't know. You know what I'm saying? He don't know any better. Isn't he smart enough to know better than to do this, Buck?
But why would he want to share misinformation? Because he
Because
deleted
this
it.
could help. This could hurt the Democrats. Think about it. This Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, if she, if, and then it hurts Republicans to know that this was a right winger. This is a Trump type of guy. So people are looking at the right wing media like Fox News, Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, people like that, looking at them as responsible for emboldening people to do this. That's that stochastic terrorism that we was talking about, where you keep on putting these violent, hateful messages out. Before long, somebody's going to act on it, and that's what happened. They done attacked this man Paul, and it
So
looked
you
like
feel
it
like
looked like
Elon got
it looked
something to
like.
do with it?
I mean, I think this is the proof that he has something to do with that kind of stuff. He's amplifying conspiracy theories, just like Tucker Carlson does, just like Sean Hannity does, just like that QAnon website does. When you peddle in misinformation, that is, he has a responsibility as just a human being to
But he
be
deleted it.
skeptical of.
He
I mean,
deleted
that's
it.
good that he deleted it, but this is something that's already out there. Sometimes you can't put the genie back in the bottle. You know what I'm saying? When people subscribe to conspiracy theories, they'll be like, "Oh, Elon Musk, he knows what's really going on," and that was like, he's letting us in on it. He deleted it, but he still like gave us the info on the low. Just because he deleted it doesn't mean that it's not true. Elon knows he got some inside information. He's buddy with Trump. He's a man of influence. That's how these people think.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you're gonna think like that if if you're on that other side, you're gonna look at him as. But seeing it from the view, he deleted it. He probably was like, oh man, this could be a reason. Oh man, this is wrong information. Let me delete this. But you're saying because of his stature, because of his position, he should know better.
Yeah, I think he should know better. And
Like
this
a
is the
Kyrie
guy that
situation. Like a Kyrie situation. Like how they
I
feel like.
mean, I would be a little bit easier on Kyrie because I mean, this guy here is building rockets, and Kyrie thinks that the Earth is flat. So I don't. Kyrie doesn't really strike me as a book smart type of guy to me. You know what I'm saying? So Elon, I feel like he should just be smarter than that. But I will say this: uh, the tweet from Mr. Musk on Sunday came on the heels of his vow in an open letter to advertisers that Twitter would not become a freewheeling site that allowed entirely unfettered commentary, which is exactly what he did. But this is the quote: Twitter obviously cannot become a free for all hellscape where anything can be said without consequences, he wrote. Twitter aspires to be the most respected advertising platform in the world. So, doesn't look like he's off to a super great start, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like the dude is off to a super great start. So, yeah, man, that's your boy, though, man. I've been kicking Elon back in for a minute. You know what I'm saying? We got to give him respect. We don't want to. We don't. But I have been very harshly critical of him, and I felt like you thought he was like, he might be a cool guy. Do you feel like you're wavering a little bit, like maybe Elon be on some bullshit, or no? You still feel like you on the fence about him?
I feel like some things that he's a smart guy. He's that he got his agenda like everybody else. So I can't, that's his prerogative. Like I can't really, I can look at him as for what he do, but he don't align into everything that I believe in, that I want, what I, it don't align with me. So I can't, but from the outside looking in, he's a successful guy. He's building his a platform where he's going about the right agenda, whatever to cover himself. I feel like he's
Yeah,
doing.
I was actually reading another story with him where he tried to start charging. He made a few changes since he been on Twitter. He said that he floated the idea that he was going to charge people like $20 a month to be verified with the blue check.
I seen it was like $4, $4.99 right now
What, to have a blue check?
every month. Yeah.
Oh, so now he down to four?
No, I thought like when I checked it on my Twitter, it was like to get that blue check it was like $4.99. I think that's. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on it, but
So
that's what.
anybody could get one?
Yeah, I think anybody can get one. I mean, from what I've seen, I don't want to give out, but
What I saw, they say Stephen King responded to that and was like, fuck that, y'all should pay me. And he was like, well, how about $8? You know what I'm saying? And then his kind of defense for it was, we got to generate revenue for the company somehow. But people on Twitter pointed out that that would only generate like $15 million for the platform. And that's only like 30 hours worth of ad space that they sell. So that already just kind of just points to him not being a truthful guy. I just don't feel like he's on the up and up. I think he's greasy. You know what I'm saying? Like he floated some shit and then he acted like, oh yeah, we're just trying to keep the lights on. And it's like, come on, bro. That ain't what it's about. You just probably you might be trying to get a new boat with that or something.
yeah, but damn, he the owner of that. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but he's the owner. But keep in mind, we're trying to see if him being the owner is going to be a good thing. This is not a good start. If you already talk about charging for blue checks and you sharing misinformation on the platform, keep in mind, if he was really a shrewd businessman like everybody thinks, he wouldn't have paid. He overpaid for Twitter. He
Right.
overpaid for it 2 times.
That's
over.
what I believe. I believe he overpaid. So this what comes with me having to be in control. And if I
Exactly. So
overpaid,
you trying to make your money back. That's already
right.
like, that's janky to me. Don't try to get your money back on.
I just spent $46 billion. I gotta be alone on that.
Bro.
He didn't spend that cash too.
That's like the tree man, you feel me, done lost money at the dice game. Then he start taking a little bud out the sack, trying to bounce back. You feel me? I'm paying my same money, you know what I'm saying? But you trying to cheat me because of what you going through. Nobody told this man to overpay for Twitter.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then look, it was funny when he tried to back out of the deal.
Right.
They sued his ass, and now he acting like, oh yeah, this is what I wanted to do. See how it's a fraud to me, bro. Like you knew that you overpaid, and then you tried to back out of it, and then they locked your ass in, and then you tried to act like it was a smooth move, and then you could tell he was still hot because as soon as he became the CEO, he fired them execs, the people he was going back and forth with in court.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as he got on, he did that. You think that was a coincidence?
Yeah, he probably trying to cut that capital down too. I'm paying y'all millions of dollars. You know what I mean?
And y'all locked me into this deal, so
right.
I got something for you. But they still got huge severances. So
right, because some of their money was on that billion. All of that money was some of their money too. So
no, that's separate. They got a severance for getting fired. That's worked into their contract. Like if you're gonna fire me, you're gonna have to pay me some bread. So we talking like
Twitter. That's not with that has nothing to do with Elon Musk. So Twitter paid.
What I'm trying to say is he was going back and forth to court with these people, trying to get out of buying it. Gotcha. So think about it. I'm going back and forth to court. Y'all forcing me to buy it. So when I finally get forced to buy it and I come on board, yeah, you could get up out of here though. I didn't even like the way you was talking to me. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even like, you know what I'm saying? The way that whole shit went down, you could just go ahead and fire off. It might have even been to a detriment of the company or something like that, but I think he's just petty like that. That's what I suspect.
Yeah, I think it saved money too by firing them,
Maybe. I mean, yeah, we don't know. But that is possible.
Like I ain't finna keep paying y'all and I overpaid. A
I
lot of
mean,
people
that's
gotta go.
possible. I mean, honestly, that's probably how you trim the fat at a lot of companies. You know what I'm saying? They probably
Start from the
overpaying
top.
execs, you know what I'm saying, and shit like that. So it's like, if I got a whip shit, I'm running a tight ship now. You know what
Right.
I mean? But no, but you know what it kind of reminds me of though?
Yeah.
When Trump got in office and the stuff that he didn't like, he just started firing people. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like the environmental agencies, like he'll fire the person that been doing a good job, and then he put somebody who's terrible out of it because he don't care. You know what I'm saying? And then when the person who was the head of education, he put somebody in there that wanted to gut public education. I feel like Elon will do that too. Like if one of the execs was like the person that was maybe in charge of the security shit, that probably would be the first person on the chopping block, like the misinformation guy or the people who
Yeah.
decide like who get banned or whatever. Like, yeah, man, we don't even. I'm not even feeling you anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's just how it go when you got somebody taking over. But I do want to get into another story, man. We've been talking a lot about anti-Semitism and all of this. You know what I'm saying? And we brought up the
Wow, I've been
nation.
saying the word wrong. Just hearing how you said it, I know I've been saying it wrong. But go
Oh yeah, man, it's new
ahead.
for a lot of people, but I'm glad that we can learn something. You feel me? Doing this, we might not, we might not get famous or something, but we getting smarter.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
getting smarter. But I'll say this: we've been talking about them. I had some pretty some pretty hard critiques of the Nation of Islam. So
Yeah, you did, man. And you
yeah,
did.
yeah,
You
yeah,
did.
yeah,
You
and I,
did.
st- I I stand on that. You know what I'm
You
saying?
stand on
Everybody,
that?
yeah, everybody's not going to disagree with them, but I noticed how everybody was quick to defend them, but I ain't see as much coverage, as much like passion about this story as they was having about the Kyrie stuff. Even like when I'm talking about the Nation of Islam, people coming to support, coming to the defense of Kanye and coming to the defense of Kyrie. Wasn't nobody talking about this story that I'm gonna bring up right now from the NPR. Mm, Here we go. We go back to the top. The men exonerated in the Malcolm X killing will receive $36 million. Had you heard about that, Bob?
So let me get this straight. These were the men that got released from being convicted of killing Malcolm X.
Nah, they actually got paroled. One of them died while he was in prison. The other one got paroled, but
Why did
now
they
that
get
he's being
36
exonerated
million?
because the city of NY is going to give them 26 million, and they're going to add another 10 million from New York State, and they're going to get the money because they figured out that these guys didn't do it. Like the evidence against them was shabby, so they went and looked into the case. Now there are people probably who are defenders or apologists for the Nation of Islam that will say that this exonerates the Nation of Islam. Nation of Islam always said that they didn't kill Malcolm X, and they said if they did kill him, it's no business of ours. That's what Farrakhan said, something to that effect. But also, they kind of just denied doing it. Like you'll hear people saying that, oh, it was the government that did it, right? And they'll use this story as kind of like it exonerates them. But let's read this story closely because let's just read the story closely. Let's see if it does. The city of New York is settling lawsuits filed on behalf of the two men that were exonerated last year for the 1965 assassination of Malcolm X, agreeing to pay 26 million dollars for the wrongful convictions, which led to both of the men spending decades behind bars. The state of New York will pay an additional 10 million dollars. David Shaney's, if I'm saying that correctly, an attorney representing the men, confirmed the settlements on Sunday. Muhammad Aziz, Khalil Islam, and their families suffered because of these unjust convictions for more than 50 years. said Shaney's, said in the email. The city recognized the grave injustices done here, and I commend the sincerity and the speed with which the comptroller's office and the corporate council moved to resolve the lawsuits. Shaney said that the settlement sends a message that police and prosecutorial misconduct caused tremendous damage, and we must remain vigilant to identify and correct injustices. Last year, a Manhattan judge dismissed the convictions of Aziz, now 84 years old, and Islam, who died in 2009 after prosecutors said new evidence of witness intimidation and suppression of exculpatory evidence had undermined the case against the men. Listen to that, Bob. Prosecutors said new evidence of witness intimidation and suppression of exculpatory evidence had undermined the case against the men. Who do you think was intimidating witnesses?
um, dang.
You gotta think about this now. Get your hands out of my pockets.
Yeah.
The district attorney, Cyrus Vance Jr., apologized for law enforcement's serious, unacceptable violations of law and the public trust. The New York City Law Department, through a spokesperson, said Sunday it stands by Vance's opinion that the men were wrongfully convicted, and the financial agreement brings some measure of justice to individuals who spent decades in prison and bore the stigma of being falsely accused of murdering an iconic figure. Listen, bro, if you get convicted of murder, that's not really going to make your life better in terms of looking for a job and things like that. But imagine how it must feel for everybody to think that you killed Malcolm X.
Yeah. Or for everybody to think that the Islam had something to do with it and it was black on black crime.
Well, I mean, I don't think we have evidence that Nation of Islam didn't have nothing to do with it. They just said that these guys didn't do it. Listen closely. Shaney said over the next few weeks that the settlement documents will be signed in the New York court that handles the probate. Hold on, man. Let me get to the good part. Aziz and Islam, who maintained their innocence from the start in the 1965 killing at Upper Manhattan's Abubin Ballroom, I know I'm saying that wrong, were paroled in the 1980s. Malcolm X gained national prominence as the voice of the Nation of Islam, exhorting black people to claim their civil rights by any means necessary, and his autobiography, written with Alex Haley, remains classic work of modern American literature. Now, this is important, Bob. Near the end of Malcolm X's life, he split with the Black Muslim organization, and after a trip to Mecca, started speaking about the potential for racial unity. It earned him the ire of some in the Nation of Islam who saw him as a traitor. Now, for a group that's not a hate group, doesn't it seem kind of peculiar that you could end up getting killed because you're talking about racial unity?
Wow. Yeah.
It's kind of hard to make the case for them not being a hate group if that's true. Now, he was shot to death while beginning a speech on February 21st, 1965. He was 39. Now, Aziz and Islam, then known as Norman 3 times Butler and Thomas 15 times Johnson, and the third man were convicted of murder in March 1966. They were sentenced to life in prison. The third man, Mujahid Abdul Halim, also known as Talmaj and Hire and Thomas Hagen. I'm not saying the name right, but he admitted to shooting Malcolm X, but said neither Aziz nor Islam was involved. The two offered alibis, and no physical evidence linked them to the crime. And the case hinged on eyewitnesses, although there were inconsistencies in their testimonies. That's real shaky, bro. That's real shaky that somebody felt brave enough, right, to stick it on these guys.
Yeah, but one guy said he did shoot it, but he
He
did shoot
he
him, but it
said that they
wasn't
wasn't
nothing.
involved.
Yeah.
I wonder who the eyewitnesses were. There was a good documentary on it, but I don't know. We don't need to retry the case, but that explains how they got landed. I'm in the court, but attorneys for Aziz and Islam said in complaints that both Aziz and Islam were at their homes in the Bronx when Malcolm X was killed. They said Aziz spent 20 years in prison and more than 55 years living with hardship and indignity uh, attendant to being unjustly branded as a convicted murderer of one of the most important civil rights leaders in history. Excuse me. Islam spent 22 years in prison and died still hoping to clear his name. Damn. So yeah, we got, a little bit of justice for those guys, if you could even call that justice.
How he spent 22 years in prison when it happened in 1965?
Because they got paroled around the 80s.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, they got out. Got you.
Yeah, but they ain't get out because they was innocent. They got out because they got paroled. You feel what I'm saying? So they still got out as killers.
They
And
was
no
just
bread. Let's not forget
right.
that.
So
So,
now they get their bread. Yeah.
well, one of them died, so it's going to get split up amongst his estate. But one of them didn't even make it to see this, and the other guy's 84 years old. I mean, I wish the best for him, but I don't know how much longer he's going to be here.
Yeah. We're gonna have fun with that M, a couple M's though.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
But you 84, it's like damn,
yeah, it's just crazy, man. But you know, that whole situation is wild. And if we love Malcolm X so much, we should be dedicated to getting to the bottom of that. And we shouldn't settle for conspiracy theories. They had
Yeah,
something
but
to do with
no,
it.
no, no. I think it's more, yeah. I mean, Malcolm X is one we got to get to the bottom of, but
You got to.
we got to get to the bottom of the burnings of, our towns, and nobody was convicted. The money, if they're giving this man money for having time spent, that was wrongly convicted, we got cities that was burnt down, bombed, that nobody was convicted, no money was given to the families. They got one here in Florida, Rosewood. They got a lot that I think needs to be
Sure, no money was given to the families.
what
You sure about that?
what with Rosewood.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sure about the one with Black Wall Street, but I'm not sure about the one in Rosewood. But
yeah. We should push for that. We should push for reparations as a whole. But yeah, there's been a lot of
yeah, as a
things.
whole, I mean, you're talking
Yeah.
about people that been locked up. Like we got regular people on the streets right
Mhm.
now that suffered from what our ancestors has been through, but they're not going to get compensated. It's kind of like what they're going through, but we need it as a people, but we're not organized as a people. You get what I mean? Like you said, some skin folk ain't kinfolk. We got a lot of people that be like that, so it's like it's so much division in the culture that it's like, man,
I don't know. I think it might be a hard case to try if we're talking about certain things. Like I don't know. I just think it's something that we got to look at on a case by case basis. And I have seen people getting money, so I see black people coming together all the time. And there's a lot of smart black people in law right now. So if there's any injustices that never got justice, we should push for that. Yeah, we should still continue to push for that. I guess this was one victory, and it can't all be doom and gloom. You got to celebrate the victories when you get one, and
yeah,
these are some people. I honestly, I think it's possible that the nation has something to do with that Malcolm thing, man. It seemed like that's when he started getting all of the beef. That's when his crib was getting firebombed. He was scared of them. He kept on saying, like, if I die, this is who did it to me, basically. He never said it in those words, but he was letting people know that the beef was serious and
yeah.
that
But
he gotta
the,
he gotta strap up and all of that.
the only reason why I object to that is because of the narrative that was spent on the TV, how they spent it like that. And I learned now that the victor always win. So anytime you looking at how somebody's spinning, it could be a agenda behind it. So I'm
So
not
who do
so
you think is spinning this?
spinning that the Islam has something to do with it, and it was like, hey man, let's take him out because he's doing this, and I
The
just
point I'm making is it makes sense for them to spin it and say that they're innocent because they are the victors. Malcolm's not here no more. The Nation of Islam is still gaining a lot of influence and power, and they make a lot of money. So, like you said, the people that win is the ones who spin the narrative. It makes sense for them to spin the narrative that we didn't have nothing to do with that. Matter of fact, it was some shadow man from the government that did it, and you could stop worrying about it.
yeah,
But
yeah,
that would be the old Kansas City shuffle, if you ask me. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? They might be throwing us for the okie doke. Might. I don't know.
could
You know what
be
I'm saying?
right.
But we know that Malcolm definitely feared for his life, and he thought that if something happened to him, that they would be behind it. So I'm just going with what Malcolm thought. You know what I'm saying? It makes sense to me. And then the people that was around it wanted the dude who actually did it. He got a name like he was in the Nation of Islam. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never heard nobody say that he wasn't in the Nation of Islam. So you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Yeah.
how much more you need? You get what I'm trying to say? How much more evidence you need to be like, man, you know what I'm saying? If that wasn't enough, then what more do you need for you to be like, well, I don't know, man, this shit look kind of crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
It
that's
could
all I
be.
got. That's
Yeah.
all I got, man.
All right, man. So yeah, we're gonna catch him on another video, man. It's another sad day. R.I.P. to Takeoff, man. And
Mhm.
at least we got a win with they got their freedom back. So and they name corrected. So was
Yeah, after all these times, it don't even really feel like a win, but I got you. I
right.
got
It's
you.
like that's why we gotta celebrate, right?
Yeah, I
But
mean, yeah, at least I mean things are getting righted. Eventually, maybe now the next person won't have to wait that long.
right.
I'll say this though. I want to close this out with a little quote because we're always trying to get down to the truth, and it's always about epistemology with me personally. So I'll share another quote from Thinking is Power. They say, "A mind infected with misinformation is immune to reality." Something to think about.
Yeah. So you saying it's immune to reality. They don't know what reality is about.
I mean that if somebody is what I'll interpret what it means to me. If somebody has their mind filled up with a whole bunch of bullshit, even when you present them with facts, you can have the facts, the receipts right here to show them that, yo, what you believing in right now is some bullshit. That's still not going to be enough to disabuse them of their wrong beliefs. Just like somebody who believes in the whole Hebrew to Negroes theory, you know, I can present you with stuff to show you that story ain't 100. There's holes in the stories. There's inaccuracies all through the documentary, but that's not going to be enough to make you abandon that belief. You're just going to keep on believing what you want to believe sometimes. You get me? Just like Kyrie, he believes that the earth is flat. Physicists have talked to him and be like, you know what? You might be wrong with that. And that wasn't enough to change his mind.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So there you have it.
Misinformation is real. All right,
True
guys.
news or news.
Yeah, we're gonna catch y'all on the next one. Peace, peace.